What a tasty onion. Hello, I am Onion Man, or Onion Man the Kohen, that is. What? What am I doing over here in this Chumash lesson? Well, I'm representing Perek Chavbet, that's chapter 22, otherwise known as chapter Onion, but more on the onion connection later. Well, you see, in Perek Chavbet, that's chapter 22, there's a lot about the laws of impure things and pure things, and I just figured that onions, with our sharp taste, we could sort of scare away the impurity, so I decided to make my head into a big giant onion. All right, corny joke. You could laugh now. Anyway, all right. It's not that funny. Anyway, so let's get serious a second. In Perek Chavbet, that's chapter 22, the Torah discusses a few very important halachot. The first one is that a Kohen who is tamei, you see that's a Kohen with a normal head, not an onion head, that is tamei, he's impure, cannot serve in the Bet HaMikdash, doing any of the korbanot functions. The second halacha is that someone who is a Baal Mum, an animal that is a Baal Mum, it has a blemish, cannot be offered on the Mizbeach. That's right. And then the last thing in the Perek is about the importance of Jewish people making a Kiddush Hashem when everyone looks at them and says, wow, that person behaves like such a mensch. Wherever you go, whatever you do, make sure that everyone looks at you and says, wow, that person is a good example of how you behave when you follow the Torah. That is correct. That is right. Now, let's get down to some specifics over here. First of all, what would make a person tameh? What would make a person impure? Well, if we go into some details, first of all, there are several things that make someone tameh. One is tumat sara'at. That white blotch on the skin that shows a person they have sara'at. Zav, if they someone who has an abnormal bodily discharge of fluid, that makes them tameh. Nega b'meit, if he touched a dead body of a human being, that would cause him to be tameh. Shichvat zera, a bodily fluid discharge. Naga b'sheretz, touching a creepy crawly, one of 8 creepy crawly creatures. Hanogeya bezav, if you even touch someone who had an abnormal bodily discharge. And zava, or a female who had an abnormally discharge. Yoledet, a woman who just had a baby, has that impurity. So those are a whole bunch of things that could make you impure. And sorry, onions will not chase that away. Now, a Kohen Tameh cannot eat Truma or any Kodshim. If someone is Tameh, you can't eat the gifts of Truma given to a Kohen or sacrificial meat. But there are some more people, even if they're not Tameh, cannot eat those things. One would be a non-Kohen, a Zar, a stranger. So any non-Jew or even a Jew who is not a Kohen cannot eat holy meat. Or a Jewish servant of a Kohen cannot eat kodshi. Someone who's hired, right? An uncircumcised Kohen, a Kohen who does not have a Brit Milah, cannot eat Truma. Bummer. A Chalala, that means someone born of a forbidden relationship. Let's say a Kohen married a divorced woman, which is not allowed to do, and the child would be a Chalala, and he would not be allowed to eat Kodshim. A Bat Kohen, the daughter of a Kohen who got widowed or divorced, she can eat Kodshim of her father, because her father is taking care of her, not her husband. However, if you mistakenly ate the Kodshim, you ate stolen property and you got to pay it back. So you got to pay back the Keren. The Keren means the principal. No, not the principal of the school. Means how much it's worth. Like it was $100 value, you have to pay back $100 plus a chomesh. A chomesh is a fifth, which is 20% in percentages. You have to pay back 20% more than what you damaged. So 100 plus 20%. Now I don't want to confuse you, but happens to be it's a fifth of the total amount. So it's actually a quarter of the 100. I just confused you, I know. Basically that would be $120. You're confused now. Sorry. Okay. The laws of Tevel are if someone has food that the holy portion was not taken off and given to the Kohen, you may not eat it because it's not been given to the Kohen. And finally, the Torah discusses laws of blemished animals. Okay? Not allowed to be offered in the temple. Okay? For example, you're not allowed to cause the blemish. You can't slaughter it. You can't sprinkle its blood in the Bet HaMikdash. You can't burn any parts of it on the altar. You can't offer a castrated animal, which is pretty normal on farms if they don't want the animal to have children. If they offer a blemished animal belonging to a non-Jew, like the story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa, right? They got the Roman king to donate a blemished animal. Don't offer an animal less than 8 days after its birth. Don't slaughter an animal and its mother on the same day. And don't leave over meat of Kodshim until next morning, which is called notar, leftovers. Finally, the end of the parak ends off that a Jew must not be a chilul Hashem, a desecration or disgrace of God's name, be a kiddush Hashem, cause everyone to praise and glorify Hashem. And thank you very much. This has been a nice time learning together. Excuse me. Hey, Onion Head. Who are you calling Onion Head? Me. How are the kids supposed to remember that long list of laws? I don't know. Do you have any suggestions? Yeah, definitely. Well, the first one is that Perek Chavbet, chapter 22, is a secret code for an onion.
Oh, I know.
What? How does that work out? Well, you see, because the ends are really twos that were flipped over on their side. Oh, so the onion, right, and all the rest of them are vowels, so we cross them out, and then you have the ends, which are twos, flipped over on their side, so onion is chapter 22. Yep, you got it. Chapter 22. Awesome. Now, what does onion have to do with all these amazing laws that we learned about? Well, the first one is that if you smell like an onion because you became tamei, no offense, then you can't serve in the Bet HaMikdash. What? Let me smell your breath. Your breath smells. Okay, no serving in the Bet HaMikdash. The second law is, if an animal has blemishes, he can't be in the Bet HaMikdash. How does an onion remind us of that? Well, I'll show you. You see, here is my friend Betsy the cow. Betsy the cow has a blemish. Huh? What's the blemish? Yeah, instead of spots, it's got onions all over her. What? That's impossible. Well, it's a silly story to remember it. So, if you have onions in your head, or you have onions all over you, you cannot serve in the Bet HaMikdash. And remember, when you go out, kids, to the street, everyone is looking at you. You are like a person with an onion on your head, and everyone is watching to see how you act. So behave like a proud onion, and make sure to do your hair very nicely, and wear a kippah, and act like a good Jewish onion, and be like a gold standard, like an onion is nice and gold, and act like a respectable Jew or Jewess. Thank you very much. This has been the Onion teaching you about Perek Chavbet, chapter 22.